Hello everyone, this is Mr. Mahmud here, helping you do better in maths by giving you tips and tricks on how to revise and going through maths revision on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing. Now, today I'm going to go through the Gcse Maths Calculator Paper 3 Unseen Topics. So I'm going to go through each and every example from the list that I've gone through for grade 4 and grade 5. So this is applicable for both higher and foundation GCSE maths. So let's get on with it. So first of all, we're going to go through number, ratio and proportion topics. So let's start off with interest question, which is a compound interest question. So Toby invested 4,500 for 2 years in a savings account. He was paid 4% per annum compound interest. So this is your keyword that you'll be looking for. Either is simple interest or compound interest. How much did Toby have in his savings account after 2 years? So first of all, we need to find out what the multiplier is. Now, because he's being paid 4% per annum or 4% per year, so we had 100% plus 4%, which is 104%. So that's the multiplier. So we need to divide it by 100. So 104 divided by 100, that gives us 1.04. So 1.04 is our multiplier. Now, this multiplier you probably know already by now, so you don't need to show this working. Just need to know the multiplier. I'm just showing where I got the multiplier from. Now, let's find out how much money we'll have after 2 years. Now, the formula that we know for compound interest is the original amount, which is 4,500. So 4,500 multiplied by the multiplier to the power of number of years, which is 2 years, to the power of number of years. All we have to do now is we need to type this in our calculator. So we have 4,000 excuse me, 500 times by 1.04 to the power of 2. Now you can either enter using this button here, x to the power of, or x to the power x squared. I'll use the x to the power of button and then enter 2 here, and then press the right arrow button and then press equal, and then press the SD button to change the answer to decimal. So we have 4,867 pounds 20 pence. So after 2 years, Toby will have 4,867 pounds and 20 pence in his account. So question 2, the value of a car depreciates by 35% each year. At the end of 2007, the value of the car was 5,460. Work out the value of the car at the end of 2006. So let's work out how much percentage is remaining after depreciation. So we have 100%, you had 100% depreciated by 35% and remaining 65%. Let's work out the multiplier. So 65 divided by 100, which is 0.65. Now we need to work out the value of the car at the end of 2006. So we got the value at 2007, 5,460 divided by the multiplier 0.65, and that will give us an answer of, let's clear the calculator, so 5,460 divided by 0.65, and that gives us an answer of 8,400. So how do we know our answer is right? Now, because it's at the end of 2006, so the value must have been more than what it was in 2007. So this is how we can check our answer. So the answer is 8,400 pounds. Question 3, find the simple interest when £1,000 is invested at 7% for 3 years. So it's a simple interest question. So we have £1,000. It's asking us to find the simple interest only. So £1,000 times by the multiplier of 7% is going to be 7 divided by 100, which is 0.07. So times the original amount by 0.07 times it by 3 years. Let's find out what the interest is. So use a calculator. 1,000 times by 0.07 times by 3 years, and that gives us £210. So simple interest will be £210. Number 4, use your calculator to work out this calculation here. So we're going to type it in all in calculator. If you haven't looked at the calculator hacks question, please do check it out, because I've shown it there how to enter the whole calculation in one go. So let's clear the calculator first. Now, because it's a fraction, we're going to press the fraction button first, and because it's got a square root on top on the numerator, let's press the square root button here, and then enter the numbers inside it. 2.5, you got square, and then press the right arrow button. Well, it's already on there, so plus 3.75. Now go to the denominator, press the down arrow button. 3.9 minus 1.7. Press the right arrow button and then press equal, and then the SD button to turn into decimals, and it says write down all the figures on your calculator display. You must give your answer as a decimal. So the answer is 1.4373. 1.4373 98936, 98936, and that's the answer. Write your answer to part A equal to 2 decimal places. So we need 2 numbers after the decimal, so make sure you know the difference between the significant figures and decimal places. So decimal basically means 2 numbers after the decimal. So 2 decimal places. Draw the line after 2 decimal places and look at the number after the line. It is 5 or over, so we need to add 1 to this number here. So that our answer is going to be 1.44, and that's the answer. Correct to 2 decimal places. Question 5 is a best buy question. So we can see we have a pack of 9 toilet rolls, £4.23. A pack of 4 toilet rolls, £1.96. A pack of 9 toilet rolls. Which pack gives the better value for money? You must show all your working. Now, when you get a best buy question, always work out maybe price of 1 unit, or how much does 1 unit cost. Pack of 9 pack. So you got 36 rolls. So £4.23 times by 4. That gives us an answer of, let's have a look, calculator. £4.23 times by 4 gives an answer of £16.92. So £16.92. Work out the pack of 4. That would be 36 rolls. So that would be £1.96 times by 9, and that gives us an answer of £1.96 times by 9 gives an answer of £17.64. So £17.64. So we can see pack of 9 is better value. So pack of 9 is better value. Next, direct and inverse proportion question. X is inversely proportional, so it's a inverse proportion question. X is given by the formula x equals 1000 over y find the value of x when y equals 50. So we have x is equal to 1000 over y. So x is equal to 1000, y is 50, so divided by 50, and that will give us an answer of x is equal to, if you're not sure, always use a calculator, and the answer will be 20. So it'll be 1000, don't just assume if you're not sure. Like I said, use a calculator, which is 20. So x is 20. Question number 7. Y is directly proportional to x. Y is given by the formula y equals 0.4x. Find the value of y when x equals 6. Now there's several ways of answering these type of questions, so let's do it the straightforward way. So we know y is equal to 0.4x. So y is equal to 0.4, x is 6, times by 6. So y is equal to 0.4 times by 6. I get an answer of 2.4. So we found the value of y. Number 8, in a sale, normal prices are reduced by 15%. The sale price of a CD player is £102. Work out the normal price of the CD player. So it's a reverse percentage question, and we have £102, 15% reduced, so therefore 15% reduce, that gives us 85%. So we can say £102 is same as 85%. Now we need to find out what 1% is, so divide by 85 both sides, divide by 85, divide by 85, and that gives us 102 divided by 85, and that gives us an answer of 1.2. So £1.20 is 1%. So we need to find out what 100% is, so times by both sides by 100, that gives us 100% is equal to 1.2 times by 100, that gives an answer of £120. So £120. So the normal price of CD player is £120. And this is worth 3 marks. Number 9. A garage sells cars. It offers a discount of 20% off the normal price for cash. Dave pays £5,200 cash for a car. Calculate the normal price of the car. So we have 20% off. That means we have 100 take away 20%, which is 80% remaining. So we can say £5,200 is same as 80%. Again, to find out what 1% is, so divided by 80 both sides, and that will give us 1%. So 5,200 divided by 80, get an answer of £65. So 1% is 65. And we find the normal price, which is 100%. So 100% is going to be same as £6,500. The answer is £6,500. Question 10. The volume of a gold bar is 100 centimeters cubed. The density of gold is 19.3 grams per centimeters cubed. Work out the mass of the gold bar. So it's a compound measures question. Now in paper 1 there was a compound measures question, but it was to do with speed, distance, time. So I've included a compound measure on volume, density and mass question. So first of all, let's look at the formula. So we know density equals mass divided by volume. So if you're not sure, write down the formula. So mass is the top. Always remember mass is at the top. So we need to work out what the mass is. So mass is going to be equal to density times by volume. Okay, so we have volume of the gold bar is 100 centimeters cubed. So we're working out the mass. So mass density is 19.3. So 19.3 times by volume is 100. If you're not sure, use the calculator. Never assume, because you might make silly mistakes. So always type in the calculator if you're not sure. 19.3 times by 100, and that gives us 1930. So the mass is 1930. The unit for mass is grams. So it'll be 1930 grams. Number 11, the exchange rate question. And the exchange rate in London is £1 equals €1.40. The exchange rate in Paris is €1 equals 86 pence. Elaine wants to change some pounds into euros. In which of these cities would Elaine get the most euros? You must show all of your working. Okay, and it is worth 4 marks. We need to compare them, so we need to compare them to the same unit. So if you convert them maybe into euros or pounds, so let's find out from Paris. So we have €1 equals 86 pence. So €1 is equal to 86 pence, 0.86. So we need to find out what £1 is equal to as euros. So divided by 0.86 both sides, divided by 0.86, then that will give us an answer of 0.86 divided by 0.86 is 1. If you're not sure, use a calculator. So £1 is equal to, and 1 divided by 0.86 is going to be 1.16. So €1.16. So €1.16. Now we change it into pounds now. So in Paris, we know that £1 is 1.14. Sorry, in Paris we know is £1 is 1.16. And in London is £1 is €1.14. So we can clearly see in Paris, Elaine will get the most euros. So the answer is Paris. So in this question, we just converted the Paris into pounds and compared the London. We didn't need to change the London rate because it was already in terms of £1 is equal to €1.14. Number 12, express 84 as a product of its prime factors. Now this question is worth 3 marks, so you might need to do a most likely you're going to need to do a factor tree. So let's do the factor tree. Now you can do this using the calculator. And my calculator hacks video showed how to use the calculator to find this answer. I'll show you here again. So 84 as a product of its prime factors. So it'll be 2 times by 42, just halving 84, circle the prime number, 2 times by 21, 3 times by 7, and that's it. 2 squared times by 3 times by 7. Now let's use a calculator to check our answer if this is right. So that will give us, we need to enter the number first, so 84 equals, and then shift and the yellow fact button just over there, and then goes 2 squared times by 3 times 7, and that's the answer. So 2 squared times by 3 times by 7. Find the highest common factor of 84 and 35. So we need to work out the product of prime factors of 35. So 35, we already got 84 there, so it was 5 times 7. Both prime numbers, so 35 can be written as 5 times 7, and 84 can be written as 2 squared times by 3 times 7. Now we can see there's a one lot of 7 common, so we can say the highest common factor of 84 and 35 is 7, and that's the answer. Again, you can use the calculator. Just go back to that one to work out this part on the calculator. So we need to enter 35 equals shift and the facts button, and that gives us 5 times 7, and we've got 5 times 7. Okay, you can make sure you use a calculator just to be sure about your answer. Next part of the revision is algebra. So we're going to start off with a equation of a line. So that was one of the topics on the list I've made. Just to clarify that this list is for unseen topics. That doesn't mean you don't need to revise the other topics. You still need to revise the other topics because there's no guarantee that the questions will be only based on these unseen topics. There might be unseen topics in the questions, but doesn't mean it's going to be based on these questions only. So please do revise the other topics as well. Now let's have a go at this question. Find the equation of line L. Now to find the equation of a line, we need to write the equation in the form of y equals mx plus c. The easiest path to find from this is the y-intercept here. So that's the y-intercept. We already got the y-intercept here. So c equals 5. Now we need to find the gradient, which is m. Now to find the gradient, we need to go up. So let's start from here. So 2 steps up and 1 across. Now because the line is going downwards, the gradient is going to be negative, so -2, and we're going across. We go across first, so we go 1 across and 2 down, so there were 2 down, so 1 across and 2 down. So the answer is going to be up divided by across, so be -2 divided by 1, which is -2. So the gradient is -2. We can complete our equation now. So y equals -2x plus 5. So y equals -2x plus 5 is our answer, and it is worth 3 marks. Next I have a question on this. Could be this. A straight line has an equation 2y minus 10x equals 8. Work out the gradient of this line. So we need to work out what the gradient is. Now in order to find the gradient, we need to have the equation in the form of y equals mx plus c. So the equation has to be in the form of y equals mx plus c. At the moment is 2y minus 10x equals 8. So it is not in the form of y equals mx plus c. So let's rearrange it. So we need to add, so let's write the equation first. So we have 2y minus 10x equals 8. We need to add 10x on both sides. So plus 10x plus 10x. That will give us 2y is equal to, these two cancel out, and then 10x plus 8, and all we need to do is get rid of the 2, then we'll have y equals mx plus c. So divide by 2 both sides, so divide by 2 divided by 2, this the right hand side as well. So that'll give us y equals 2y divided by 2 is y, 10x divided by 2 is 5x, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. And it says work out the gradient of this line. So gradient represents, this number here represents the gradient, which is next to the x. So gradient is 5. Write down the equation of a line parallel to this line. Now we know that when two equation of lines are parallel, they need to have the same gradient. So the gradient has to be 5 as well. So we can have several equations which are parallel to y equals 5x plus 4. So with the equation is y equals 5x plus 4, we can have y equals 5x plus 2. We can have y equals 5x only. We can have y equals 5x plus 10. So as long as it has a gradient of 5, it is parallel to y equals 5x plus 4. So we just pick any of them. We can say y equals 5x plus 2 is parallel to the equation y equals 5x plus 4. Next, changing the subject of a formula. Now we have d equals ut plus kt squared, and all we have to do now is if I make the u the subject. Now in order to make u the subject, we need to get rid of kt squared first. So our aim is to isolate u, so minus kt squared from both sides. That will give us d minus kt squared is equal to ut. All we have to do is divide by t both sides. So that will give us d minus kt squared over t, and that will give us ut divided by t is just u. So we change the subject, so u equals d minus kt squared over t. Question 4. Make t the subject of the formula. Again, another rearranging the subject. V equals u plus 5t, and we're making t the subject this time. So let's subtract u from both sides. Zoom in a little bit. So v minus u equals 5t, and then divide by 5 both sides, and that will give us divided by 5, v minus u over 5 is equal to t. So we made t the subject. So t equals v minus u over 5, and it's worth 2 marks. And one last rearranging subject, make t the subject of the formula. We have brackets here, so what we can do is we can expand the brackets to start off with. So 2t minus 10 equals y, and then making t the subject, so we need to add 10 on both sides, so getting rid of 10 from the left side. So 2t equals y plus 10, and then divided by 2 both sides. That will give us t is equal to y plus 10 divided by 2. So y plus 10 divided by 2 is the answer. Number 6, solve the simultaneous equations. 3x plus 2y equals 4, 4x plus 5y equals 17. Now, in order to solve this simultaneous equation, we need to eliminate one of them, either x term or the y term. None of the terms are same, so we need to make the terms same to start off with. So what we can do is we can pick any of them. Well, we can pick x terms or y terms and multiply by the opposite term number that is in front of them. So let's pick these two terms. So let's make the x terms the same. So let's multiply this equation by 4. Let's multiply this equation by 3. So I'm multiplying by the opposite term number right in front of them. Okay, so let's multiply all this by 4. So 4 times 3x is 12x, plus 4 times 2y is 8y, and 4 times 4 is 16. Then multiply all of this by 3. 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times 5y is 15y, equals 3 times 7 is 51. If you're not sure, I'm not sure about your 17 times table, then check on the calculator. Now we need to look at the signs. The signs are different in front of the x terms, so we need to subtract. So that will give us 12x minus 12x is 0, and 15, 8 take away 15 is minus 7, y, and 16 minus 51, it gives us 30 minus 35. Now because it gives us minus, what you can do is you can write this equation on top and this equation on bottom, and you can subtract one from this one from the bigger one. Now because I've got two negatives, I can multiply by minus 1 both sides and cancel the negatives from both sides. So that will give us 7y equals 35. So that you don't get confused, so I had to explain that a little bit there. And then divided by 7 both sides, and that will give us y equals 5. Now we found the y value. Now let's substitute y into one of these equations here. So 3x plus 2y equals 4. So sub y equals 5 into 3x plus 2y equals 4. And then 3x plus y is 5. So with 2 times 5 equals 4. So 3x is plus 10 equals 4. Minus 10 from both sides. That gives us 3x is equal to minus 6. And divided by 3 both sides, x is equal to minus 2. So our x value, let's write down on the answer section. So x is minus 2 and y is equal to 3. So that was the simultaneous equation question. Now there wasn't a simultaneous equation question in your sorry, that was y equals 5. I don't know why I've written 3. I found y equals 5. So let's change this to don't need y equals that. So y is 5. So x is minus 2 and y is 5. So that is worth 4 marks. So like I said, there wasn't a simultaneous equation question in your paper 1, GCSE Maths paper 1 and paper 2. So there's a big chance that this question might appear. Next, factorize fully 2x squared minus 4xy. So we've got two terms and a quadratic, so that means we're going to have single bracket. Find the highest common factor between these two terms. So 2 and 4, we've got two highest common factor, x squared and x squared xy. We have x common, and then 2x squared divided by 2x is x, and minus 4xy divided by 2x is minus 2y, and that's the answer. Usually when you get these questions, you get 1 mark for either working out the highest common factor or one of these terms right. I'll give you 1 mark, but this is a pretty straightforward question. Hopefully you get this one right. Factorize p squared minus 6b plus 8. We have a quadratic, square and 3 terms. That means we need to have double brackets in our answer. Okay, so we got p, so the question will start with p. I need to decide what are those two missing numbers, including the sign. Now how I do it is I write down what the product is and the sum is. So the sum is minus 6, the middle number is the sum, so sum is minus 6 and the product is 8. So the product is positive 8. A positive 8. Now I need to list all the different ways I can get 8 by multiplying two numbers. So I can do 1 times 8. I can do minus 1 times by minus 8, including the negatives. You'll notice y, 2 times 4 and minus 2 times minus 4 gives us positive 8. Because 2 negatives times together gives me positive. Now out of all these answers, which one gives me minus 6 when I add the numbers? Or add and subtract. So minus 2 and minus 4 add up to minus 6. So my answer, for my answer, I'm going to use these two numbers here. So p minus 2 and p minus 4. And that's it. We factorize a quadratic expression. Next, simplify. Now x plus 2 whole squared divided by x plus 2. Now with this one we can write x plus 2 as x plus 2 times by x plus 2, because it's squared means which is times by itself. So for example, we have 2 squared, that means 2 times 2. Same with an expression, x plus 2 whole squared means x plus 2 times by x plus 2, and we are dividing by x plus 2. Now what we can do, we can simplify it, we can cross out or divide by x plus 2 top and bottom, and that will leave it with x plus 2 here. So the answer is going to be x plus 2. Difference of two squareds to factorize. So we have x squared minus 100, and we know that when we write difference of two squared, we can write it as a squared minus b squared can be written as a plus b times by a minus b. So if you write x squared minus 10 squared, so change it into a power form, 10 to the power of 2 or 10 squared. So we can write this as x plus 10 and x minus 10. Just remember the formula. So the answer is x plus 10, x minus 10. And if you multiply out these brackets, it'll give you this answer here, x squared minus 100. Expand and simplify. Number 8. So when you get a question like this, it's very easy to use the lines and multiply them and then get your answer. And what I prefer is to use the grid, and in that way you won't make any mistakes with the signs, because a lot of people make the mistakes with the signs and we're multiplying them. So all you have to do is write down the terms, one term in each box, so p plus 9, including the signs, because when you multiply you need to write down the signs, and you will notice that this will help you a lot when you actually write down your full answer. So p times p is p squared, p times plus 9 is plus 9p, and then minus 4 times p is minus 4p, and minus 4 times plus 9 is minus, because negative and the positive times is negative. So 4 times 9 is 36. Write out the answer inside the grid that what we have here. So p squared plus 9p minus 4p minus 36. Now have you noticed the reason I wrote on the sign, so that I know what to write down, what sign goes in front of each term, so I won't be confused later on, and it will make my life a lot easier. So 9p, so p squared says it is, so p squared, there's no other p squared. 9p take away 4p is 5p minus 36. So let's write the square there. So be p squared plus 5p minus 36 is the answer. Next, factorize, another factorized question. So product and sum, as we said before, so that's the sum. So sum is minus 11 this time, and the product is plus 18, positive 18. Make sure you write down the sign so you know what to which numbers to choose for your answer. So every possible answer, two numbers multiplied together gives us plus 18. So 1 times 18 minus 1 times minus 18, also list the negatives, and then we have 2 times 9 and minus 2 times minus 9. Then we have 3 times 6 and minus 3 times minus 6. I'm just going all over the way now. Now which set of numbers added together gives me minus 11, because that's the sum I'm looking for, and we can see minus 2 and minus 9 gives us minus 11. So double brackets, and we have x to start off with. So minus 2 is the first one, and the second one is minus 9. Another difference of 2 squared, so we can write x squared, and we can write 49 as 7 squared. So our answer is going to be x plus 7 and x minus 7. So x plus 7 and x minus 7. Simplify 9x to the power 8 y cubed to the power of half. Now we know that anything to the power of half is a square root. So square root, so we can write it as 9. We can write it out separately, and that will probably be a bit easier to see what's going on. So let's write out the power separately. So 9 to the power of half. Then we have x to the power of 8. So we multiply the powers, so 9 has a 1 there, so 9 1 times half is half, x to the power 8 times by half, and then y cubed times by half. Now there's several ways of doing this. I'm trying to show you every single bit of working here so you understand where I'm getting my answers from, and hopefully will help you with your GCSE exam. 9 to the power of half, so we know with the n to the power of half is the square root of 9, so that would be 3. 8 times half is 4, that would be 4, so be x to the power of 4. 3 times half is 3 over 2, so let's leave it as 3 over 2. So y to the power of 3 over 2, and that's it, that's our answer. So we 3x to the power of 4, y to the power of 3 over 2. Question 9, conversion graphs between pounds and Australian dollars, and it's asking us to change 20 Australian dollars to pounds. Now I'm going to struggle to use a ruler on this, so I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a line freehand, and hopefully that will help you understand a little better what's going on. Okay, change 20 Australian dollars to pounds. So let's have a look at where Australian dollar is. Here's Australian dollars, and over here we got pounds. We need to go to 20, and we need to draw a straight line using a ruler up to the line, and then go down. And our answer, if it's a straight line, it should give us something like. If I use a ruler, that would be better, because on my screen I won't be able to use a ruler. So that would be around about here. So that will give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So around about. So be around about £8 and 50 pence. And then change £7 to Australian dollars. So go to £7. So 6. So between 6 and 8, that would be £7. So around about here, draw up to the line, and then go across, and that will give us around about. So that gives us 1 to £17, $17 Australian dollars. So that gives us 17 Australian dollars. Change £400 to Australian dollars. Now we do not have our graph doesn't go up to $400. So what we can do is we can choose a number that we can possibly use to find this answer. So what if we find £400 to Australian dollars? So what if we find 10 pounds into Australian dollars? So we can say, so that will give us 10. So let's go up to the 10 pounds. Draw a straight line up to the line and go across and find out what this number is. So that's around about 21, 22, about 23. So if 10 pounds is equal to 23 Australian dollars, and then £1 will be divided by 10 both sides, $2.30 divided by 10, and then times it by 400 both sides, because we're finding £400 into dollars. So £400 times by 2.3, that will give us an answer of 920 Australian dollars. So £1 is 920 Australian dollars. Now make sure, I know I didn't use a pencil or a ruler. Please do make sure you use a pencil or ruler. So your answers might be slightly different to what I've got, because I did not use a ruler due to not being able to use it on the computer screen here. Okay, so next one, we have another graph, another real life graph. So we have Judy drove from her home to the airport. She waited at the airport, then she drove home. Here is the distance time graph for Judy's complete journey. What is the distance from Judy's home to the airport? So Judy's home and to the airport, and we can see this is the distance. We need to look at what distance this distance is. So it starts from 0 and it ends at 40, and it's in kilometers. So be 40 kilometers. For how many minutes did Judy wait at the airport? So we need to look at this straight line here where she's not been traveling, so been resting here or stationary. So we can see again, if you can't read a number off clearly, make sure you use a ruler. So 1465 this is, and this is 1530. So 1530 take away 1465, and that will give us 65 minutes, so 1 hour and 5 minutes. 1 hour and 5 minutes. Work out Judy's average speed on her journey home from the airport. Give your answer in kilometers per hour. Her journey from home from the airport, so we're looking at this here, so that's the airport, and journey home from the airport, so looking at this, so we need to work out her speed, average speed. So we need to divide. We know that speed is equal to, let's write down the formula, speed equals distance divided by time. Speed equals distance divided by time. So we need to work out what the distance she traveled, and we know the distance from the airport from there to the house is 40 divided by the time. So how long did it take her to go from the airport to the house? So we can see from this time here, it took her 30 minutes, so 1530 to 1600 is 30 minutes, so divided by 30, let's use the calculator, so be 40 divided by, now 30 minutes, we need to change it into hours, which is going to be 40 divided by half an hour. So always make sure you say in terms of hour, because your answer requires in kilometers per hour. So 40 divided by half, and that gives us 80. So her average speed was 80 kilometers per hour, and that's worth 2 marks. Question 11. Complete the table of values for y equals x squared minus 4x plus 2. Now I know in your paper 2 you had a plotting linear graph in your foundation paper. So this quadratic graph hasn't come up yet, so most likely, well, might come up as well, so I didn't want to miss that one out. Now last time I showed you on my calculator hack video how to enter the values in a calculator and work out what the values are for the table. So we need to, first of all, we need to press the setup menu and go to number 2. Again, this works for the other Casio calculators as well, the same way. So press 2 to go, so press 3 to go to the table mode. You can see a picture of a table there, and that will give you the variable. So number 1, let me just, okay, so press 3. Next we have a plotting a quadratic graph. So we have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 2. Now I know that in your foundation paper plotting a linear graph question came up, so I didn't want to leave the quadratic graph out because there is a possibility that this type of question could come up. So in my last video, in the calculator hacks video, I showed you how to enter the values in the calculator and work out what the values of the tables are. So let's have a look at the calculator. So we need to change the mode first. So mode, and the table mode is number 3. So let's press 3, and that will give you the space where you need to enter the equation. To enter the equation, you have to press alpha, and then you can see in red is the x, the brackets 1, and it's x squared. So press the squared. So, and then minus 4, again alpha, and then x minus 4x, and then plus 2. Now press equal. You don't want g of x, so press equal again. So start is going to be minus 1. Press down arrow. So you press equal, and then that will give you to the n value. So n value is 5 here. So that will give us press 5. And then press equal again, and the steps we want to go in ones because we don't have 0.5, so we want to go in ones. Step 1, and press equal, and then press equal again, and that will give you the table of values here, as you can see on this screen. Okay, so we need to enter the values. So when you have minus 1, the value is 7. Let's write down 7. 0 is 2, 1 is minus 1 already given, and we can clearly see that the values are correct as the graph in the question the table has some of the values already. 2 is minus 2, so let's write down minus 2 here. And 3 is minus 1, so press down arrow, go to the other values. 3 is minus 1 already here. 4 is 2, and 5 is 7 already given. And that's it. Now we got our values now. Before I move on, let's change the mode, because if you don't change the mode, you're going to get all these funny answers. So press mode N1 to go back to the calculation mode. Now all we have to do is plot the graph now. So let's plot minus 1 and 7. So minus 1 across and 7 up. So the first point is going to be here, 0 and 2, 0 across and 2 up. 1 minus 1, 1 minus 1. Then we have 2 minus 2, 2 minus 2. 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1. 4, 2, so 4 across, 1, 2 up. And then 5 and 7, so 5 across and 7 up. All we have to do is, using a pencil, join the points up. Make sure you use a pencil. And make sure you go through the points. Now mine wasn't very great, so I would suggest you go through all the points, and because it's freehand, it's quite difficult to draw on this screen. I'll try and go through as many points as possible, and that's it. That's much better. And that's worth 4 marks altogether in this question. Next section we have geometry and measures, and we have angles in polygons questions. We need to work out what the missing angle is, which is x. The diagram shows a part of a regular 10-sided polygon. Work out the size of the angle marked x. Now there's several ways of working this out. You can work out because it's worth 3 marks, you can do it the straightforward way. We can work out what the exterior angle is and take away from 180, because we know exterior and interior angles add up to 180 degrees, and that'll give you the interior angle, which is x. It's 10-sided shape, so we know exterior angles, so let's write down exterior angle will be 360 divided by the number of sides. That gives us 36 degrees. So exterior angle is worth 36 degrees. To work out the interior angle, all we have to do is 180 degrees take away 36 degrees, and that will give us an answer of 180 take away 36. That gives an answer of 144 degrees. 144 degrees is x. You can use the other formula as well. Number of sides take away 2 times by 180 divided by 2, and that will give you the same answer as well. But that's the quickest way to do it. Number 2. We need to work out this angle here. The diagram shows a regular hexagon and a regular octagon. Calculate the size of the angle marked x. So the diagram shows a regular hexagon and a regular octagon. Calculate the size of the angle marked x. You must show all your working. Now it says diagram not accurately drawn, so do not get a protractor out and measure the angle. It won't give you the right answer. So what you have to do is you have to calculate it, and you show all your working. So what we can do is, let's have a look how many sides this shape has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're both all regular. And this one this is a 6-sided shape, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is an 8-sided shape. So always count by putting marks on, so you show how many sides of shape these are. Also you got the information here. So a regular hexagon and an octagon, 6 and 8. Now let's work out what the exterior angles are, because both our exterior angles added together, and we can just add the answers together and find the answer. So let's draw the line. So we need to find this angle, exterior angle, this exterior angle, and add them together, and that will be our answer. So to find the exterior angle of a hexagon, we need to divide 360 by number of sides, which is 6, and need to add the answer of octagon, which is 360 divided by 8 number of sides, and then add them together, and that will give us the answer. So 360 divided by 6 is 60, and adding 360 divided by 8 is 45. Use a calculator if you're not sure. And 60 and 45 is 105 degrees. So x is 105 degrees. Next, we have a similar shapes question. So we have the two triangles ABC and PQ are mathematically similar. Angle A equals P, angle B equals Q. AB is 8 centimeters, so we got AB. AC is 26, and PQ is 12, and QR is 45. Calculate the length of PR. So we need to find out what PR is. So this length here. And before we do this type of question, we need to find what the scale factor is. So let's find out what the scale factor is. So the scale factor is going to be, to find the scale factor, you need to divide the corresponding sides that are given. So these two sides are given, so they are corresponding sides. So you need to divide the bigger one by the smaller one. So 12 divided by 8. And that will give us the scale factor. So let's work it out. So 12 divided by 8, that gives us 1.5. So the 1.5, so scale factor is 1.5. Now, because we're finding the side of a bigger shape, so we need to multiply the corresponding smaller side. Okay, so let's divide the multiply the smaller side, which is 26, by the scale factor, and that will give us the bigger side. So we've got 1.5 already there, so answer times by 26, and that gives us an answer of 39. So answer is 39 centimeters. Next question is part of the same question. Calculate the length of BC. So we need to work out what this length is. Now we know that the corresponding side of the big one is 45. Now because we're finding the smaller triangle side, so we need to divide the bigger triangle's side. So we by the scale factor. So 45 divided by 1.5. So always remember, if you're going from small to big, you times. If you're going from big to small, you are dividing. So 45 divided by 1.5. So 45 divided by 1.5, that gives us an answer of 30. So answer is 30 centimeters. So BC is 30 centimeters. Let's do another similar shape question where there's two shapes. There was a big one shape. So what we have to do here is we need to separate the shapes so that we can actually see what is going on. So let's separate the shapes first. So we have ABC, so this triangle here, and we have a bigger triangle ACD. Okay, so we have ABC and ACD. ABC, ACD. Write down the measurements so you know what's going on here. So 4.8 here, that's the smaller side. This is 5 centimeters for the smaller triangle, and this is 4 centimeters for the smaller triangle up to here. For the bigger triangle, this long side is going to be 6 add 4, these two added together, which is 10 centimeters. And the longer side, we don't know what this side is. Now let's have a look at what we need to find. B is parallel to CD, these two are parallel. ABC and AD are straight lines. ABC and ACD are straight lines. AED, sorry, are straight lines. AB is 4, BC is 6, B is 5, AE is 4.8. So we've got all this information here. Calculate the length of CD. So we need to work out what this length here is. Now, just similar to the other question that we have, we need to work out what the scale factor is first. So we need to divide the bigger corresponding side by the smaller triangle's corresponding side. So the scale factor is going to be 10 divided by 4. 10 divided by 4, and that gives us an answer of 10 divided by 4. That gives us 2.5. So scale factor is 2.5. Now because we're finding the bigger shape's length, we have to multiply the smaller shape's corresponding side. So be 5, which is BC, is corresponding to CD. 5 times the scale factor, and that will give us an answer of 2.5 times by 5, which is 12.5. So answer is 12.5 centimeters, and that's the answer for this part. Next is asking us to find the length of ED. So that means we need to work out what AD is. So in order to work out this one, what we know is, so we need to work out first of all what AD is, then we can take away AE from AD, and then we'll be left with just ED. Now because we have the corresponding of the smaller shape 4.8, so we have 4.8. Now to find the bigger side, so the side of the bigger shape, we need to multiply by the scale factor. So 4.8 times by 2.5. So let's work this out. 4.8 times by 2.5. That didn't enter very well. It's 4.8 times by 2.5. That gives an answer of 12. So that would be 12. So the whole length of AD is 12 centimeters. All we have to do now is take away 4.8 from 12. So 12 take away 4.8. Take away 4.8. That gives us an answer of 7.2. 7.2. So the answer is 7.2 centimeters. Now this question is for foundation only, because it's a pretty straightforward question. You need to name the parts of the circle. Now here are 5 diagrams and 5 labels. In each diagram the center of the circle is marked with a cross. Match each diagram to its label. One has been done for you. Oh, that's very nice of them. Circle and tangent. So we know a tangent, just about touching the circle. And then we have circle and radius. So we know the circle and radius starts from midpoint, ends at the circumference. Circle and radius is going to be this one. Circle and chord. Some people say chord, but it's chord. So that's the chord, circle and chord, which does not go through the midpoint. And then circle and sector. So that's circle and sector, which is part of a circle. And circle and diameter. Diameter goes all the way across. Circle and diameter. And that's it. The radius of a circle is 3.60 meters. Work out the area of the circle. So it's an area of circle question. Give your answer to 3 significant figures. So area of circle, we know you need to use the formula pi r squared. If you don't know your formula, make sure you learn that one. Radius is 3.6, so it would be pi times 3.60 squared. And type this in your calculator. So the pi button is over here, so you have to press shift, and then this button here where it says times x to the power of x, the pi, little pi sign there, pi times 3.6 squared, and press equal, and then 40.715, 40.715 04. Now don't think we need all those digits, but just in case, so I want to round it to 3 significant figures. So you go 1, 2, 3. Look at the number after the third number, and it's 1, 4 or less, so we don't need to round it up. So our answer is going to be 40.7 centimeters, sorry, meters squared. So that would be meters squared in our answer. Next, number 4, the diameter of the wheel is Harry's bicycle 0.65 meters. Calculate the circumference of the wheel. Give your answer to correct to 2 decimal places. So when you work out the circumference, so we know to work out the circumference, we need to know the formula is pi times diameter. So pi times diameter is 0.65. So it'll be shift pi times by 0.65, and that will give us the answer. Change the decimal, 2.042. 2.042, change it to 2 decimal places, 2 decimal places after the decimal, 2.04, be 2.04 meters. Next we have a sector question. So calculate the area of sector. So the diagram shows the sector of a circle, center 0, the radius of the circle is 13 centimeters, the angle of the sector is 150 degrees. Calculate the area of the sector, give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. So to work out the area of the sector, we need to know what the formula is. So the formula is the angle that size is given, 150 over 360, so that's the fraction of angle is given, times by pi a radius square. So radius, because it's area of a sector, so times by pi times radius is 13, so it'll be 13 squared. And all you have to do is type that in your calculator. So that'll give us fraction 150, down arrow, divided by 360, right arrow, times by shift pi times by 13 squared, and press equal, change it to decimal, and 221.22, so that'd be 221.22. Change it to 3 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3, look at the number after the third significant figure is 4 or less, so we just leave it as it is, so it'll be 221 centimeters squared. Next, the length of arc AB, so we need to work out the length of arc, which is similar to the formula of pi times diameter, which is circumference. Now, again, it's similar to the area one as well, so but only difference is you use the second part of the formula is pi times diameter. The diameter we need to work out first, which is 12. Well, we don't need to, we can put that in the formula. So let's work out the fraction of angle that is given. So with 60 out of 360 times by, because we've got the radius given, so we need to times it by 2, so it'll be 2 times pi times by the radius is 12. Let's type this all in our calculator. Now I know this gives your answer in terms of pi, maybe because it's a non-calculator question, but just in case, so I'll work out both ways. So let's work out in terms of pi. So that will give us divided by top and bottom 10 divided by 6. That gives us 1/6, and 6 goes into 12 twice. 2 times 2 is 4 pi. Now what we can do is, or we can type it all in our calculator to work out in decimal. So the decimal answer is going to be fraction 60, down arrow, divided by 360, right arrow, times by 2 times by shift pi times by 12, press equal, that gives you 4 pi, and then change it to decimal, that gives you 12.5663. And again, if it tells you to round to significant or decimal places, then do so according to the question. Next, a problem solving type of question. Shaded area. The diagram shows 2 small circles made inside a circle inside a large circle. The large circle has a radius of 8 centimeters. Each of the 2 small circles has a diameter of 4 centimeters. Write down the radius of each of the small circles. So write down the radius of each of the small circles, which is pretty straightforward. So the diameter of each small circle is 4. So the radius is going to be divided by 2, or half of the diameter, which is 2 centimeters. Next part, work out the area of the region shown shaded in the diagram. Give your answer equal to 1 decimal place. So the area, the shaded area. So what we need to do is work out what the area of the bigger circle is, and then take away the smaller two circles which are not shaded, and that'll give us the area shaded. So we know the pi r squared, so we pi times by radius squared, which is 8 squared. We're going to take away 2 lots of these. So let's work out, so we're going to time by 2. So 2 lots of radius is 2, so pi times by 2 squared. So we 2 lots of those, put it in the brackets. And all you have to do is type it in your calculator, and that will give you the answer. Clear the calculator. So that gives us shift pi times by 8 squared. And then we take away 2 times brackets shift pi times by 2 squared, and close the bracket and press the equal. 56 pi, or change it to decimal, 175.9 to 1 decimal place. 175.9 centimeters squared is the shaded area. Now there's several ways of doing this. I've just tried to do it as quick as possible. So if you've got your own way of doing this, then that's absolutely fine, as long as you get the same answer. And make sure you show the working as well, because this is worth 4 marks. Next we have a bearing question, and according to the rules, we know that to answer bearing question, we need to start from north line. Before that, we need to find out what's the question asking us to find. So measure and write down the bearing of B from A. So B from A, so that's A, B from A. So we need to measure this angle here, and you need to use a protractor for this one. Now, how do we use a protractor? Now here I cannot show you using a protractor, but what I can tell you is how to do it. Measure this angle here, because you don't have a big long 360 degrees protractor, it's going to be difficult. So if you have a 180 degree protractor, measure this angle here, and if you measure it, that should give you around about 28 degrees. And all you have to do is take away 28 from 360 and give you bearing of B from A, this angle size here. So 360 take away 28, and that should give you an answer of 332 degrees. And that's the answer. On the diagram, draw a line on the bearing of 107 degrees from A. So we need to measure 107 degrees, and using a protractor, place a protractor here on this line here. Make sure the midpoint of the protractor goes here, and then measure 107 degrees. So it says from A, so that's A, so from A, if you draw a line, that should be here, so that should be 107 degrees. The diagram shows the position of 2 points P and Q on the map. So there's P and Q. Measure the bearing of Q from P. Measure the bearing of Q from P, and that will be the angle here. So because it says from P, so you need to start from P to Q is the best measurement here. And if you measure with the protractor, that should give you about 48 degrees. That's a straightforward question. It's worth 1 mark only. A rock R is on a bearing of 150 degrees from Q. So 150 degrees from Q. So I need to measure 150 degrees from Q. On the map, R is 6 centimeters from Q. Mark the position of R with a cross and label it R. Now what we need to do is start off with, from Q we need to measure 150. So place a protractor here. So if this is a protractor, then measure 150 degrees from here, so which is around about here, and from there measure this line that you're going to draw. So just draw a long line, and from there measure 6 centimeters. So measure 6 centimeters with ruler and cross it and put a cross there and label it R, and that will be your answer. Sorry I couldn't show you using protractor or ruler here, because on this Word document I won't be able to use a ruler or protractor. If anyone knows how to do that, please do let me know in the comments. We really appreciate that. Next, trapezium problem solving type of question. So the ABCD is a trapezium. AD is parallel to BC. Angle A is angle A equals angle B. A equals angle A equals angle B equals 90 degrees. So they're all 90 degrees. Angle A and B. AD is 2.1 meters. AB is 1.9. CD is 3.2. Work out the length of BC. So we need to work out what this length is. Give your answer to correct to 3 significant figures. So to start off with, we need to work out what the height. So we're going to do 2.1, so which is 2.1 this height, 2.1 plus 3.2. Now this is 2.1 as well, and this is 2.1, and then we need to find out what this is going to be, 1.9. And because it's asking us to find BC, length of BC, we know up to here is 2.1. What we need to do is we need to work out what this part is. Now, as we have a right angled triangle, we can use Pythagoras to work out what this missing side is, and then we add it to 2.1, and that will give us the answer. So let's use Pythagoras first. So longest side given and one shorter side, so we're going to do take away. So 3.2 squared take away 1.9 squared, and then square root the answer, and that will give us, so square root, let's clear the calculator first, square root 3.2 squared minus 1.9 squared and equal, that gives us 2.5748. 2.5748. Let's write down a few more digits. 78638. 78638. So this is this length here, and we need to add it to 2.1. So we already have this value here, so plus 2.1, and let's add 2.1 plus 2.1, and that gives us an answer of 4.6748. 4.6748. Let's double check the digits. 6748. Give you answer 3 significant figures. So 1, 2, 3. Draw the line. The number after the line, which is 4 or less. So we don't need to add any numbers to 7. So the answer would be 4.67 meters. And that's our answer for this one. That's worth 4 marks. Next, work out the value of x. Oh, we're almost there, and then we're going to go to the next section of the maths, which is going to be statistics and probability, and that will be the end of it. Work out the value of x, give your answer to 1 decimal place. So we need to work out what this length is. Now we can see there's another angle involved other than the right angle. So what we need to do is maybe we need to use some sort of trig, because other angles involved. Now in order to find this missing side, we need to find what for example either this side is and this side is. We cannot work with 3 different unknowns, so we need to find one of these. So we need to find, maybe because we cannot find any of the sides here on this triangle just by using one angle, so let's have a look at here what we have. So we've got a triangle here, again it's a right angle triangle, and we've got 2 sides given and no other angles are involved in the right angle, so therefore that's a hint for us that we need to use Pythagoras. So let's find out what this side is using these 2 numbers. So we know using Pythagoras, 16 squared, sorry 20 squared, so longest side squared, hypotenuse squared, take away this side squared, which is 16 squared, and square root it, and that will give us the answer of this length here. So let's do, clear the calculator. So press the square root button. 20 squared minus 16 squared. By the way, if you're still watching this video and if you think it's helping you, please do hit the like button so that I know that you are getting benefit. You are benefiting from this video. So that gives us 12 centimeters. So this length is 12 centimeters. Now let's find out what this is. Now, because we got an angle, another angle involved other than the right angle, we need to use trig, one of the trig ratios. So let's label the sides first. Opposite the right angle is hypotenuse, and then opposite the angle given is opposite, and this is adjacent. Now adjacent is not involved here because we're finding x this side here, so h and o. So we need to write down the formula. So we need to use, if you're not sure, write down so Toa. So we've got three ratios, so we need to use O and H. So it's so we know that sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So sine theta is 25 degrees, opposite is 12, and hypotenuse is x. And now all we have to do is rearrange it. Now because x is here, so we can swap them. So x would be equal to 12 divided by sine 25 degrees, and type in your calculator, fraction 12, down arrow button, shift, not shift, sorry, be sine. If you find a missing angle, then it's shift inverse sine inverse 1, cos inverse 1, tan inverse 1. So be sine 25 and close brackets, press equal, and 28.39. 28.39 centimeters, because the answer has to be in one decimal place around it. So that will give us 28. Now the number after 3 is 9. 5 are over, so you add 1 to this one, 28.4 centimeters. So x is equal to 28.4 centimeters. So that was the last question on this section here. So next we have statistics and probability. And the first question, we have a frequency diagram. There are 70 members in a badminton club. There are 45 males in the club. Of the males, 10 are left-handed. Of the females, 18 are right-handed. Complete this frequency tree. So we have 70 members in a badminton club, so altogether we have 70. Now first, when you get a question like this, always write down what information you have for definite. So there are 45 males in the club, so we got to look at males. We got 45 males altogether. And then we have, of the males, 10 are left-handed, so left-handed, we write down 10. Of the females, 18 are right-handed. Of the females, 18 are right-handed. And that's all the information we have given for definite. So we need to work out what the rest are. So let's work out what the right-handed males are. So we do 45 take away 10. So our 45, 10 are left-handed. So the rest are going to be right-handed. So 45 take away 10, which is 35. Now out of the 45, out of the 70, 45 are males. So therefore, 70 take away 45, that means the rest are female, so 25 are female. Now out of the 25 female, right-handed are 18, so therefore the rest are going to be left-handed. So 25 take away 18, which is 7, so we have 7 left-handed female. Find the probability of a player chosen at random being a right-handed male. So we have right-handed player chosen at random. So it doesn't say a male chosen at random. So player chosen at random, so we have 70 players altogether. And being right-handed male, so right-handed male is 35, so be 35 out of 70. Question 2. 20 students scored as goals. So we got averages from a table. Scored the goals for the school hockey team last month. The table gives information about the number of goals they scored. I write down the modal number of goals scored, so which has the highest frequency. So 9 is the highest number of students. So the modal number of goals scored is 1. This score here. Work out the range of the number of goals scored. So the highest score take with the smallest score. So 4 take away 1. So 4 take away 1, which is 3. So 3 goals. I work out the mean number of goals. So we need to work out what the mean. To work out the mean, we need to multiply the goals scored times by the student, which is the frequency. So that would be 1 times 9 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. Add them all together and gives you an answer of 42, and divide by the total frequency, which is 20. So it'll be 42 divided by 20, and gives you an answer of 42 divided by 20, answer of 2.1. So B, mean number of goal is 2.1 goals, and that's worth 5 marks altogether. Another estimating mean, but using class intervals this time. So we need to maybe draw 2 more columns, one for midpoint and one for midpoint times by frequency. So let's find the midpoint, 0 and 10. Midpoint is 5. If you're not sure, add them 2 and divide it by 2, and then it'll give you the midpoint very easily. So that's midpoint, and that's midpoint times by frequency. So 0 and 10, midpoint is 5. 10 and 20 is 15. This one is 25. 13, 40, midpoint is 35. And 14, 15, midpoint is 45. And then times midpoint by frequency. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 times 8 is 120. Use calculator if you're not sure. I'm trying to rush here because I need to finish. 25 times by 11 is 275. 35 times by 9 is 315. If I made a mistake, please do let me know in the comments. 9 times 45 is 405, and add them together, which is 1130, and the total frequency is 40, because we know it's 40 here, so double check by adding them as well. So estimating the mean, 1130 divided by 40 gives you an answer of 28.25. State the modal class interval. So which one has the highest frequency? The one that has the highest frequency is the modal class interval. So this one has the highest frequency. So the modal class interval is 20. M is time minutes is more than 20 but less than or equal to 30. So you need to write down the class interval. Don't write down just 11. A lot of people make the mistake by writing the frequency. So you need to write down the class interval, because the question says write down the modal class interval, and that is this one here. Find the group containing the median. Now I did a question on my last revision video, how to work out the median from a table. So what we need to do is we need to work out, let's have a look how many marks it is. It's worth 2 marks. Now there are 40 friends, so we need to work out 40 plus 1, which is 41, and divide that by 2. So 41 divided by 2, which is the 20.5. Now the median is going to be 20.5th value, so 20.5th value is the median. So let's work out the frequency. So 15 at 15 is 20, and 20 at 25 is 45. So the median value will lie here, which is this one here. Okay, so our median value is going to be median class interval is going to be the same as what we found for the model. So be 20 less than or equal to 30, and that's the answer for that one. Next scatter graph. What type of correlation does the scatter graph have? So we can see it's a positive correlation, and then positive. A different student in year 11 has a height of 148 centimeters. Estimate the arm length of this student. So we need to draw the line of best fit. I want to try my best using a freehand. Can you make sure you use a ruler and pencil? Happy with this. Okay, and then it says year 11 has a height of 148 centimeters. Estimate the arm length. So height of 148, so we need to go to height and find 148, which is around about here. Use a ruler again, and then go across to arm length, which is around about here. So we can see it's about less than 85, so it'll be 84, approximately 84 centimeters. Next question, a pie chart. Now, in order to drawing a pie chart, it says draw an accurate pie chart. Now, I'm going to show you how to work out how to find the degrees for the pie chart, the angle sizes. So let's add up the frequency altogether. So if you add them together, to give you 60, and then the angle. Draw another column here. So the angle size is going to be, to work out the angle, we need to divide. So we have angle sizes. So from 60 we need to get to a total angle size of 360, because angle in the circle adds up to 360 degrees. So we need to times 60 by 6 to get to 360. So we need to work out 15. So before I go to that one, let's answer this question here. Just missed a question here. What fraction of the cars are white? Give your answer in its simplest form. So cars are white is 15 out of 60 cars altogether. So it'll be 15 out of 60, and give your answer in simplest form. And you can simplify fractions in your calculator. So write your fraction button, type in that 15, press down arrow button over 60. And that gives you a quarter. So answer is a quarter. So because it's a calculator question, do make sure to use the calculator to be sure about the answers. If you're not sure, never assume and make those silly mistakes. Let's go to draw a pie chart. So we're working out the angle size for the pie chart. So to find the angle size, we have to times 60 by 6 to get to 360. So we have to times every other number by 6. So times 24 by 6, 16 by 6, 15 by 6, and 5 by 6. So 6 times 24 gives us 144. 6 times 16 is 96, and 6 times 15 is 90, and then 6 times 5 is 30, and that should add up to 360. Double check your answer if you're not sure. Draw the pie chart. Now to draw the pie chart, start from this line, place a protractor here, midpoint here, and then start drawing the pie chart. Unfortunately, I don't have a protractor, so please, if you're not sure how to draw angles on a pie chart, please do check. We've got lots of videos on YouTube. I'll try and find one for you as well. Number 6, interpreting pie charts. So we're asking us to find out what the frequency and the angles of the sectors are for these sectors. Okay, so we got 18 there, so we need to use this to find out what the angle of each sector is. So we've got peppers, we got 18, and the angle size is 90. So we're going to divide the angle by the frequency. So we're 90 divided by 18, which is 5. So the angle size is going to be 5 times 18, which is 90. So we have to times, so we need to to find the angle size of this. So a mushroom, we know, is 180 degrees. So divided by 5, going the opposite way. So divide 180 by 5. That gives us an answer of 36. And then for this one, it's ham is 40 degrees. So 40 degrees divided by 5 is 8. And then last one is, can work it out by adding them on. 180, add 90, add 40, take away that from 360, gives us pineapple, and that should give you an answer of 50 degrees, and 50 divided by 5 is 10, frequency 10. And that's it, our pie chart table is complete. The pie chart table, yep. Next, almost there, number 7, given that probability area equals 0.9, probability of A dash, excuse me, it's going to be, so probability A dash mean basically probability of A not happening, so be 1 take away 0.9, which is 0.1, so be answer 0.1. Shade the region that represents probability of A intersection B, so that's this section here. Next, all members of the club were asked if they eat apples, and if they eat bananas. If the information was presented on a Venn diagram, and this is the Venn diagram. How many people are in the club? So altogether we have, add them all together. So let's have a look what we get. 17 add 52 add 20 add 41, and that gives us a total of 130. So 130, so I'll add it all them together. Member of the club is selected at random. What is the probability they eat both apples and bananas? So apples and bananas both be 52 out of the total is 130. So the probability, right, as a fraction. Now it doesn't say to simplify your answer, so I left it as it is. And the next question is a Venn diagram question. Now, how it doesn't say on this question to draw a Venn diagram, but because you have all these so many different things going on and a probability is involved here, so that is a clue for you that it is a Venn diagram question. So that's number 10. So we have Sammy asks 50 people which drinks daylight from tea, coffee and milk. So we have 3 different categories here. So tea, coffee, and we have milk. And always start from the middle for this type of question. Now, well, how do you know which goes in the middle here? Tea, coffee and milk. So we've got 19 people like tea, all 3 drinks. So let's start off with 19. Now, next thing we need to find out what goes on these 3 sections, and then finally the outer sections. Now, next 16 people like tea and coffee but do not like milk, so we need to find out tea and coffee, this section here. So because we included 19 people here, so people like tea and coffee but not milk, so we know that 16 people like tea and coffee only. So we can say definite 16 is going to be here. People don't like milk, so milk is not mixed here. 21 people like coffee and milk. Now, because 21 like coffee and milk, some of them have been included here in the middle. So 21 take away 19 is 2. That's done. 24 people like tea and milk. So tea and milk. Out of the 24, there are 19 people also like tea and milk here, which all like all 3 of them. So be 24 take away 19 is 5. Now work out the outer part. 24 people like tea, so we've done that one. 40 people like coffee. Now out of the 40 people like coffee, we included these people over here. So let's work out how many people like coffee only. So be 40 take away 16 take away 19 take away 2. That gives us, doesn't sound right, I've multiplied, put in negative twice. Let's try that again. So 40 take away 16 take away 19 take away 2, and that gives us an answer of 3. So 3 people like coffee only. And next, one person likes only milk, so one person likes only milk. Now we need to work out how many people like tea only. Now we know there are 50 people together, so 50, and we need to take away every other number from here, from 50, to work out how many people like tea only. So 50 take away 16, take away 19, take away 5, take away 1, take away 2, take away 3. And that gives an answer of 4. So 4 people like tea only. And that's our answer. Work out the probability that this person likes tea. So that would be tea are included in the tea circle. So altogether, 5 add 19 add 16 add 4 is 44 out of 50. So that's the probability of this correct answer. And it's worth 4 marks. And 2 more questions to go. Elsa records the colors of the cars in the school car park. So these are frequency diagrams. Here is the list of the colors of the 20 cars. We've got a tally chart going on here. I'm pretty sure you can do tally charts. So I'm just going to quickly do the tally. So to quickly show you one of them. So we got white here. So cross them out so you don't repeat them. So white, white, black, and then you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every 5 you cross it diagonally, and 1, and 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Do an extra one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the frequency is going to be 7 here, 6 here, 2, and 5. Now all you have to do is, using this information, you need to draw a bar chart for this information, and all you have to do is draw the axes. Sorry about that, I don't have a ruler to use on my computer. So be 1, draw the lines, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because the highest frequency is 7, there's no need to do any extra. And then the first one is black, is 7. So black goes up to 7. So that would be black. Next one is blue, is 6. So blue goes up to 6. Blue. Next one is red, is 2. 1, 2, red, and finally white is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's white. Again, use a pencil ruler and draw it neatly. That's worth 5 marks. And finally, the last question, tree diagram. Now on the higher paper, the tree diagram appeared, so I'm going to do this for foundation paper, because on the foundation paper there was no tree diagrams. So this is for foundation people. Then again, saying that, there's no guarantee that another question on tree diagram might not come up on higher paper. So always, if you're not sure about tree diagram, make sure you revise those, especially those difficult ones with algebra expressions in them. So we know that the branches add up to a whole. So if this is 5/8, so this is going to be 3/8. 4/7, so that would be 3/7. And then again, this is going to be the same. So that would be 4/7 and then 3/7. I've not read the question, so let's quickly read the question. Always read the question. So that's a big mistake, not reading the question carefully and just assuming the answers. There are only red marbles and green marbles in a bag. There are 5 red marbles and 3 green marbles. Dwayne takes a random marble from the bag. He does not put the marbles back in the bag. Okay, here's a trick. That's why I always read the question. Does not put the marble back in the bag. That will change some of my answers here. Now this one is 4/7, so I know this one's going to be 3/7 already given here. Now because he picks a red, so the number of red goes down 4, and the number of total comes down to 7 because he picks a red and does not replace it. And because he picked a red, the green number will stay the same, 3 green marbles out of 7. The total number will go down to 7. Now this time he picks a green marble, so therefore red will stay unchanged, which will be 4 out of 7. No, sorry. This will be 5 out of 7. Because it's picked a green, it will be 5 out of 7. Now the green will change from 3 to 2, be 2 out of 7. And that's it. So always be careful if it's replaced or not replaced. If it's replaced, don't need to worry, just keep the fraction the same. If it's not replaced, just double check which color has been picked, red or green, and then change the fractions accordingly, the denominator and the numerator. Work out the probability the drawing takes marbles of different colors. So that means different colors. We can pick a red and a green and a red. Okay, so probability of red, green. So probability of red and green is going to be red is 5/8. So we multiply along the branches times by 3/7, red, green. So it'll be 3/7. So about 15 to multiply the numerator, multiply the denominator, 15 over 56. And probability of green, red, because it's of different colors, do pick different colors, green, red, so that'll give us 3/8 times by 5/7. So that'll give us 15 over 56. Now all we have to do is add the fractions together. So 15 and 15 is 30, because the denominator is the same, we can add the numerators, 30 out of 56. And that's the answer. And that's it. We managed to get to the end of these unseen topics exam style questions. Now, go through the videos. I would strongly suggest, obviously, go through, attempt the questions first, pause it, attempt the question, and then look through the answers. That would be most beneficial. These are grade 4 and 5, and some grade 3. These are suitable for both higher and foundation students. The next video I'll try and go through higher only topics and the foundation only topics. Until then, make sure you don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment if it helped you, and also please do hit the like button so I know that people are benefiting from this video. So that's it for tonight, and I'll see you in the next video. Good luck with your exam, everyone. Mr. Mahmud, helping you do better in maths.